Good afternoon, parents, students, teachers. This is my final Principals newsletter for the year of 2020 because we only have 1 week in December, so this will be the last one. And the next time I'll be speaking to you will be in January 2021, which is exciting times ahead. So the biggest news I have for you today is that we've just completed the DSIB inspection for looking at pathways and alternative pathways for students of determination in Springdales School. They only chose 30 schools to look at across the whole of Dubai, and they'd obviously heard that we're doing some really exciting things here and decided to come and spend the day with us virtually. It was quite a thorough inspection. They interviewed 2 of the students, they interviewed their parents, they interviewed the teachers, and they spent quite a bit of time with all the leadership team, including myself, which was a real experience. There were a lot of positives that came out of it and very few negatives. So we'll look forward to the result of that and then feeding that result, and you should see best practice occurring in Springdales School in regards to students of determination. The other big news, I suppose, for November was the Diwali celebration and the upcoming, next week or so, the UAE National Day, 3 days, where we will be looking at that too. So Diwali, we've already covered that a number of times. Was a fantastic experience, a great experience for me as a humble Australian to see what goes on in that celebration, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Enjoyed the colour, the food, the meaning. All of those were wonderful things. The UAE experience I've been through a number of times, working in local schools as well as in private schools, and I never lose the sense of what a privilege it is to be here working and living in the UAE as a resident, and all of the wonderful things and opportunities that opens up for us as Western expats, and to see that excitement come out on National Day with the flag, with the dress, with everything that it means, is always a very big positive and something that I look forward to every year. The 3 sectors of the school, the exciting things that they've been doing over November, you will receive in a paper newsletter, but I'll mention a few of them now. KG, pre-KG, they've been doing the Hungry Caterpillar, and they did it in a very tactile way. They used different materials to build all sorts of things, and that created lots of conversation and dance and songs and all of those wonderful, exciting things. And it's a wonderful story, the Hungry Caterpillar. So that's been a very successful highlight for them. KG1, we're looking at transport. Again, lots of different activities, building parachutes out of paper, all sorts of things, thinking outside the box. And of course they always, as all our teachers do, integrate cross-curricular. So we have some math in there, we have some English in there, we have writing in there. It's all wrapped into having some fun and doing some exciting activities and motivating activities. KG2, they were doing Tiny Adventurers was their theme. So they explored that in many different ways and made sure that lots of good language, writing and reading and maths came out of being tiny adventurers. The overall activity that they all did was a talent day, and on the talent day we saw singing and dancing and poetry and speeches and musical instruments being played by these small children. It was just a joy to watch, and they're things that allow the children to take with them right through their life. That joy of music, that joy of performing is something to behold, to be honest. In the primary sector, they've been fairly busy doing the Diwali and UAE things, but one of the major things they did was they had a day where they did a bit of a role swap where the teachers pretended they were the students and put forward messages on a board. It was on a Saturday, so that was an exciting experience that I watched online, and the children thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was all done in the right spirit, and it got a bunch of key messages across of how teachers know what children are thinking and feeling most of the time when they're delivering their learning to the students. The secondary school, the main part of the secondary school, have been very much focused on the board exams coming. They've just finished doing Cat 4. They have just completed Arabic B, IBT tests. We had a 270% increase in students being part of that, and it is important. We need to be able to track the performance of our Arabic language speakers to help them improve and to certify so that they can use that skill to open up opportunities for global employment when they leave school in the later years. Two more things I want to talk about. One is that I was watching the BBC News this morning, and it was all about the Oxford vaccine coming. Now, that was a fairly exciting moment, and they described it as a brighter light at the end of the tunnel. Now, and they talked about the vaccine coming out in weeks, not months, and hoping that they could have almost a full quota of vaccine out by, say, January, February, March, and then things can really start to get back to some sort of normality in countries. And of course, UAE are well placed to be one of those countries that are early adopters of a vaccine. We have a smallish population. We are fairly disciplined in the way that we are prepared to take these sort of things on. So we could look forward to something happening here quite quickly. I'm very hopeful for, and I would imagine most parents are hopeful that we can rid ourselves of this horrible COVID-19 at some point. And just to finish off, we have the winter period coming with us. So really the 10th of December is the last day of school. Then you can go on holidays from that evening or the 11th, and you've got a good 24 days until you've got to be back at school on Sunday the 3rd of January 2021, which is kind of exciting and kind of scary that the years are rolling past so quickly. So we look forward to seeing you all back at that time. Maybe still not back at the physical school, but it won't be far away from that point. I don't think we'll be well down the track to getting on top of COVID-19, and then schools will get back to being normal in that students can start coming in without any fear of catching the dreaded COVID. Anyway, have a great break. Surround yourself with friends, stay safe, and loved ones, and I look forward to talking to you in my next January newsletter. Thank you all.